Welcome to Business Talk, our University of Rio Grande OSU South Center's podcast show. We are here at the University of Rio Grande's TV studio. Not only are we doing live internet radio through Blog Talk Radio, but we are also live on the Jackson Educational Access Channel and Channel 17 University of Rio Grande TV channel. Our podcasts are archived and placed on YouTube for viewing and listening again. Our mission is simple: to promote the University of Rio Grande and its diverse educational programs, to promote the Ohio State University South Centers and its many business technology programs, promote the various small business and economic support organizations, and finally, promote Southern Ohio, a great place to live, learn, and enjoy life to the fullest. I am Jason Winters, Director of the Center for Small Business Entrepreneurship, and joining me today is a co-host Mike Thompson, Instructional Design and Media Services Director. We are both with the University of Rio Grande. Also, co-host Patrick Dengel, Business Development Specialist with the OSU South Centers. And today, Pat, would you introduce our special guest?
It will be a pleasure, Jason. Kyla Carpenter. Kyla Carpenter is the chamber president, along with some of the individuals down at the Gallia Chamber of Commerce. And it's really a pleasure to have Kyla on our program. It has been a while, Kyla. I remember when we first started out, you were kind enough to come in, and at that time it was just the radio. And Kyla has, although she's been working with Ohio Valley Bank, she wears a second hat, and the hat is being the president of the Gallia Chamber of Commerce. As all of us know, we are fans of the Chamber of Commerce. They are the hub of the community. And Kyla is going to be talking a little bit about just what the Chamber of Commerce is, and memberships, why it's important, and the network opportunities that help businesses. And one of my favorites, Jason, is the First Fridays. These are fantastic educational programs that I've thoroughly enjoyed, and get a chance to learn some unique things. And I think this is the only time that the Chamber of Commerce, your Gallia County probably is the only one in the United States and in the world that has something like this. But we'll find that out in a minute. and then, of course, like all of us, our communities are our hubs, and we have to get involved if we are to be successful, etc. Kyla, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Pat.
Before we begin, how about you if you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, as Pat said, I am the current president of the Gallia County Chamber of Commerce. I also wear another hat that's assistant vice president of the Ohio Valley Bank. I am a Gallia County resident, but I was born and raised just across the river in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Home of the Mothman.
Home of the Mothman.
Maybe we can find out about what really is going on with that.
It's a top secret. Of course, they swear you to secrecy at a certain age, so I don't know if we can go there. But I have actually lived, though, now longer in Gallia County than I did in Point Pleasant when I met my husband, Jimmy. I couldn't convince him to become a hillbilly, so I had to become a Buckeye, and I haven't regretted it a day since. And for those who understand the rivalry, yes, I raised kids. I have 2 boys, raised them here in Gallia County, and never thought I would see the day, but I was proud to send them to Gallia Academy High School.
Oh, that is fantastic. I know that Mike and Jason and I really like the chamber. Let's see, Lori Neal.
Lori Neal is our executive director, and we have a new administrative assistant. Her name is Miranda Johnson, and she's been a wonderful help to us. And then I'm sure everyone already knows this name, but volunteer extraordinaire, Mary Ann Campbell.
Who?
is an invaluable resource, and she will come after you for saying that.
Well, no,
Everyone
she's
knows
on her way to
Mary Ann.
Florida right now, so we're in good shape.
Unless she's listening, because she is, she has had some successful careers in the radio and with the hospital, and she's
Yes, she
retired.
has.
She
But
is.
She works.
I was
60,
on her
70
radio
hours.
program this morning, and I forgot to turn my phone off before the show began, and it went off in the middle.
Say it's
So-
not true.
Yeah, so she gave me that look, and I know I'm in trouble.
She is the ultimate professional, though, so I am quite certain she handled it well.
Yes.
And she was one of the first lady disc jockeys
Disc jockeys.
in the growing up with the different radio shows, etc. So it sounds like the chamber has some really good people. What Lori has been involved with the chamber
I believe 12 years.
12 years. Wow. And she has a special designation in IOM. She keeps on telling me what an IOM is, but it's a special designation
It
that
is a special designation, yes.
for chamber members to assist. You wrote something down in the webpage. You said that Gallia County Chamber of Commerce promotes, supports, and strengthens business and economic development throughout the county and provides leadership for the networking and education to improve the overall business environment for chamber members. Well, why is that so important?
That is just, to me, the Chamber of Commerce is the hub of business in any community. That's what keeps your community growing, thriving, works to attract business, but also works as that voice, the all-important voice of the business person, both at the local, state, and even we work with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce at the national level.
And the U.S. Chamber of Commerce on the national level really is supportive of the good work that you all do.
Absolutely. They're a very strong, probably at the national level, the biggest resource they provide is advocacy. And being that voice in Washington, never more important than right now, being the voice of the business community so that we can be heard.
And you also have aligned with the Chamber of Commerce. One of my good friends, everyone knows him, Bob Hood, who's the executive director of the Gallia County Tourist and Convention Center. Did I say that right?
Very close. Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Bureau. It's those B words. I'm always having trouble with B words. But he has been a major proponent of Gallia County.
Yes, he has.
And actually, he's been a major proponent of Southern Ohio, would you say? He is a true friend to the Chamber of Commerce. And I know there's a lot of different other business organizations that work in tandem with the Chamber of Commerce, and why the Chamber of Commerce thrives. And it's my understanding that you're getting ready to have a chamber annual dinner.
Our annual dinner is coming up at the end of the month, January the 24th. In addition to just being a time when we can get our entire membership together at one time to talk about issues and recognize those folks throughout the year who have done some incredible and amazing things to strengthen our community and really move it forward. It's also a great time, and we'll probably touch on this a little bit later, but it's a great opportunity for networking. For all of our business members to get together and network and share ideas and plan for the future and just celebrate Gallia County.
Very good, very good.
That's also when you got elected to this presidency, right?
Yes, it was.
And that's when you will lose it? Or the new one?
Lose it. Nice choice of words.
I like a positive spin on it
Relinquish
there.
your duties.
Great. Well,
The new one will be voted in.
actually, no.
No?
It is. It would be, but not this year. That
Okay.
would be next year.
Is that a 2-year term?
It's a 2-year term.
Okay.
Did they tell you
So-
that at the very beginning?
I have to say they did. They were upfront and honest, but they also at the same time, some of the ones that went before me, Jimmy Wiseman, Ray McInnes, Tammy Brabham, they all collectively, it's like this code for the presidents. They get together and tell you, you preside at the meeting. You have to preside over a few monthly meetings, and there isn't a lot of work. Lori does it all, which I'm not sure if they mentioned that to Lori or not. I've just ratted them out now. But
Yeah, but you
there's
get,
a little
you
bit.
get to do that
Yeah.
in the coming years.
What I-
It's
That's
it's
kind of like
actually
the
good.
Book of Secrets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
okay.
it.
What I was heading towards is what has been your highlight over the past year?
That is really hard to say. There have been several things that have happened throughout the year. This first year, and that is one thing I've joked about, what others have said. That is one thing that the presidents all agree on. It's good to have a 2-year term, mainly because your first year, when you think you know everything there is to know about the chamber and what Lori does, you don't know till you're actually in the seat and working with her. There's just so much. This first year has been a learning experience, and that kind of, to me, has been a highlight. I love the chamber. I am absolutely committed to it. I came on here about 7 or 8 years ago, and every year there's just more and more I find that I like about it and the value of it to our community. But being in the president's seat now, I see it from a whole different perspective, and I see even more possibilities, and just the highlight to me is the excitement of what we can still do.
Is
What
there a
possibilities
particular
are out
need
there.
that you can see that you would like to fill?
One of my goals before the end of my term is to have our committees filled. We have 8 chamber committees. We actually have more, but 8, some are just board members that we do things for specific things on the board, such as building and grounds, things like that. But we have 8 functioning committees that help support the business community, that have very specific goals and very specific purposes for our community. The committees themselves, though, are or should be made up of our members, representatives from our member businesses.
Could you give us an example of just one of those?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can go through all of them.
Well, I'm sure
'cause
you.
I am
I didn't want to put
passionate.
you on the spot, but one
That's all
particularly.
right.
Yeah, what's your
probably the
favorite
two-
one? No. What's the black sheep?
Yeah.
Well, programming, our programming committee, to me, that is an important part of things, because the programming committee works on a lot of our networking events. They come up with ideas for new programs for our business community and our members, opportunities to get everyone together and drive the community forward. That's kind of the goal of the programming committee.
Now, is that those first Friday?
The first Fridays that Pat loves, and I have to say that's one of my favorite events that we do. They have become more and more popular.
And those are always on Thursday, right?
Of course.
Okay. Just to
You
clarify.
weren't listening, were you? That was just a test. We do have them the first Friday of every month. We take a couple for those who really want to get involved, and we don't want to get them confused. We do take July and August off for the River Rec Festival that we spearhead, and then the Gallia Fair. But other than that, we have a first Friday meeting the first Friday of every month.
Is a location move?
Typically, it does not. Ohio Valley Bank, I am proud to say, is very supportive of the chamber. Always has been, even before I became president. But I have been blessed that they have given me their full support, and they have a wonderful multimedia facility where we're able to hold meetings, and depending on the speaker and the topic, they have the capabilities there to be able to go online or do presentation, whatever's required for that meeting. we're able to do it there.
And
So
now, are those at the annex?
those are at the Ohio Valley Bank Annex, which is on 3rd Avenue.
And it starts at 8 o'clock.
Starts at 8 o'clock, the first Friday of every month. And we are actually working right now on, getting ththose presenters for this year lined up. I have some ideas, but we don't have all of them confirmed yet. So I'm going to just give you a teaser here. I can't tell you who's speaking even in February yet. But
Well-
we do have some really good ones hopefully lined up for this year.
As a matter of fact, Kyla, you had Lauren Smalley.
Yes, we
Lauren
did.
Smalley is the public information
Officer.
officer with the PUCO,
Hmm?
or PUCO, Public Utilities Commission. And she talked about, and something that I did not know, she talked about some of the electrical rates and how the deregulations, and because of you, she is going to be coming on our next show next week.
That's wonderful.
Uh,
Well, I have to say, Pat, she was actually one of our largest. She generated our largest turnout.
well,
She's one of them that we had the biggest crowd. We can hold up to 50 individuals in that room, and we were just
Oh,
about
I-
at capacity.
I know. I tried to raid the donut plate several times.
You have to get there
And-
early.
Yeah, I have to get there early. And then, of course, Lorraine Walker with her Silverbridge coffee. She's kind enough to leave off different samplings, etc. So I had
is
an
a staple.
opportunity to take 2 or 3. But it's just a pleasant experience, with the first Fridays, because you learn so much.
You do. And they have grown so much over the years. I know you were talking in your opening statement about probably the only one in the country. I don't know if we can actually hold that distinction.
Yeah, but
We have been perfecting it over the last
That's
few
right.
years to where, I am proud to say that's something that everyone looks forward to, and it has just grown. And like I said, right now we're coming close to capacity, so it would be wonderful to me to, have to move into an even larger facility.
Well, it's well worth the time and experience, and who knows? Maybe sometime soon you'll want to do podcasts, live internet,
You never know.
and that's something that Jason, Mike, and I, and some of the students have talked about, because the new media and the
Yes.
old media are coming together.
Absolutely.
We've had several radio personalities here who are moving towards the internet and things of that
He's
nature.
not talking about
Well-
our age now, is he?
What?
No, I have
Combining
to-
the old and the new media.
I guess.
Okay.
I have to say, though, since you mentioned I was out here a couple of years ago, and you're another group that has just grown, and what you've turned this podcast or blog talk into now, to me, is just amazing in just a couple of years. How
Well,
it's grown.
accidents happen, and we just roll with it.
I think there's another event. Is it after hours? Business after hours?
Business after hours. That is something that does rotate. That is actually held by sponsoring businesses. And, we try our best to encourage a business to hold. We try to get a business to sponsor one every month. That isn't always possible.
What's the purpose, or what do you do with these things?
The purpose of a business after hours is really to primarily do what everyone calls networking. Kick back in a relaxed setting, enjoy some refreshments after your office is closed for the evening. We try and make it just, stick right to an hour, so it doesn't,
So it's not like
It's not
it
exhausting.
doesn't rotate for the idea of doing tours of the facility that you're at, or promoting that business.
Yes and no. Yes, it does.
Okay.
It is entirely up to the business and what they want to do with it. And we have had businesses that have done that. There was an event, I believe, one time. I know we had one at the Wiseman Agency,
Mhm.
and they actually gave tours of the facility. Red's Rolling Garage They did as well. I believe Buckeye Rural Electric. I think
Yes.
Brian
Yes.
gave tours out there.
I think that's kind of
Some facilities
important.
can't do it, and some can. It just depends on the.
Right, because,
business.
as another business person, you know your business, but you don't know all the capabilities maybe of, or the services that other one can provide
Exactly.
until you actually see it.
It's a valuable resource to share your business with the rest of the community, and do a little bit more than just the 2-line elevator talk that most of us
Mhm.
used to. You can-
There's nothing greater than that touch and feel and be there
Absolutely.
in their space.
That and then when you get everyone together and you're just kicked back, relaxed, having some refreshments, you can also talk about things that get advice from each other, bounce ideas off of each other. We're kind of all in the business community, so to a certain extent we're all like-minded.
Or there's
So that
current
kind of-
challenges that's hitting the county.
Yeah. What's worked for you, what hasn't worked, referrals are great. I talked with Joe the other day, and he was needing to talk with someone in, your industry. Why don't I get him in touch with you or something?
You also have another program, and it's referred to as a rec.
A wreck on the river? Is
A
that what you're
wreck.
talking about?
Yes. And actually, what
Now,
it
see,
is
you're
is
going to talk over my head now.
actually it's a recreational festival.
Absolutely.
And so what did you call it? A
River wreck.
River
river
wreck.
wreck.
River
River
wreck.
wreck.
And there's no spills of any types, I don't think, and
But we hope not.
no equipment that has to be brought in to
But it's
clean up.
it's during July.
It is during July. It's held during the July 4th holiday. Depends on when the holiday falls, when we will
understand.
be having it. This year, I believe July 4th falls on a Wednesday. I'm pretty certain.
And we plan
I
on having
remember.
electricity this year.
And absolutely, heat will be at a minimum. This past year was a little challenging, but it serves actually 2 or 3 purposes. The River Rec Festival is just a fun community event. It's an opportunity to get the entire community together, to just enjoy Gallia County.
Well, you have a great park down in the
Oh,
smack dab
perfect.
right in the middle of Gallipolis that
Perfect location.
has a what do you call it?
The
Riverfront?
gazebo.
The gazebo.
Okay.
Where you can, and I asked Bob Hood this once, how many people can fit up there in the gazebo? And
You probably don't
was
want to
his
test
answer?
that.
So
I've been up
Play-
there.
play the
you did an
Curious.
old-fashioned telephone stuffing to see how many people you get on the gazebo, right?
That's right.
I'm afraid it would probably collapse.
I'd love to have seen a video of that one.
But it's just a pleasant atmosphere, and the chamber sponsors that with many different businesses.
The chamber, in conjunction with, or through all of the businesses, and if Lori were here, she is the brains of the chamber.
She's
Our board
good.
members come
She's
and
good.
go, but Lori has been here almost 13 years, coming up on more than 12 years, and she knows the ins and outs, and she could quote specific details, but there are a lot of merchants and individuals too who sponsor and provide the capability to have this event, but it's also a fundraiser for the chamber, because the chamber is a nonprofit organization, and I know sometimes people don't always understand that and think it's a government entity or agency. It is funded purely through memberships and fundraisers. So the River Recreation Festival is one of our largest fundraisers.
And you have a lot of fun.
And we have a lot of fun. And again, back to that networking aspect.
That's right.
We get to have a lot of fun and talk to others about our businesses and
I understand.
things of that nature too. So it's a win-win.
Is the Chili Fest another one?
Yeah.
The Chili Fest is held in October. This year, and it was a blessing to us because we had to put up with the heat and the power outages at this past summer's River Recreation Festival, which was a challenge. The Chili Fest was absolutely perfect. This year it was raining. The weather forecast, it was going to be a terrible day. They were predicting gloom and doom. The rain clouds just about 10 minutes before we officially kicked off the Chili Fest. Rain clouds moved away. Weather was perfect. Sun came out. We had a record turnout this
So
year.
perfect weather to eat chili.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Hey, who won?
Oh, this is another Lori question.
Oh, yeah, I
See,
understand.
We
you
have-
promised
we
her you were
actually
not
have-
going to put her on the spot
That's
today
right.
with questions.
Well, see, we actually have 3 different winners because we have an individual winner.
Yes.
We have a business winner, and I know there is a third category.
I think it's organization.
Small group,
Yeah,
organization,
yeah,
maybe small group.
Yeah. And it's interesting every year. There's a lot of different entries that come in, and
We had 12 entries this year.
12
entries. And let me tell you, I know for a fact the judges, they ended up having to call in a tiebreaker judge to go around and taste all the chili again because it was incredible. We have some awesome cooks in Gallia County. Let me tell you.
And I must say that Gallia County has a lot of great restaurants,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
anything that your heart desires. Well, there might be a few.
Depends
We
on
don't
what
have an
your heart
Indian
desires.
restaurant.
You might have,
Yeah,
you
we-
might have a strange heart or something, but
Yeah.
yeah. Overall, I think we can cover it in Gallia County. Another event we really haven't talked about yet, but a couple of other very important events for those who are involved in chambers are our annual legislative event that will be
Yes,
coming up this
yes.
spring.
And
It's
what
usually
do you
the
do with
first
that?
of May, and we invite both local or all local, state, and regional legislators in. We usually have a panel anywhere from 8 to 12, and it's open to the public, and we invite everyone to come in, and we'll have more information coming out about that soon. But it's a chance to talk with your legislature and
Yes.
talk about issues and concerns, and we have had some really good feedback from that and had some really good discussion. It's a positive day. It's a
So-
positive event, but it's really beneficial.
Is that an open forum, or do you have a set agenda of what we're going to be discussing?
It's both.
Okay.
We have a set agenda up front to a certain extent. Each there are certain questions up front, and each representative has 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to speak, and then it's open for any question out there. And typically there are some really excellent, well thought out questions and concerns that our community has. And then the other one is, of course, another fun networking and fundraiser for the chamber, and that's our annual golf tournament.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We've done-
yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah.
Mention the golf club and look at these
Yeah.
men. They light up.
Well, I wouldn't say we're golfers, but we like riding around
Yeah.
those little carts
Yeah.
and
you
pretending.
like socializing. yeah.
And
We got
trying
the
to look
hats.
for
Absolutely.
the balls.
Yeah,
there-
we got the hats.
Yeah. We only have a minute or two. I want to ask a question that's going to put you on the spot.
Okay. I'll try not to hit you.
You're from Point Pleasant,
I am.
and that's West Virginia,
That is.
and that's the home of Marshall,
Yes.
and that's the home of West Virginia University.
That's more than one question, Pat.
Well, I
Hey,
understand. I
right
understand.
now it's just yes and no. Let it go.
But you're over in Buckeye Country.
Yes.
So if Ohio State University were to play Marshall, or if Ohio State University were to play West Virginia, who would you root for?
If I wanted to remain in my house happily, it would obviously be Ohio State.
Thank you.
I have a 19-year-old who is an absolute diehard Ohio State fan, and I am a Marshall graduate. So
very good.
that is difficult to say, but I would have to root for Ohio State.
So if we have listening audience from West Virginia, Point Pleasant, which we do, or from Huntington, which we do, you of course would then say,
Oh, absolutely, Marshall.
very good.
And especially when it comes to WVU and Marshall, I am sorry to some of my friends that are WVU graduates, but it's Marshall all the way. Go Herd.
Okay.
You have been listening to Business Talk with Jason Winters, Mike Thompson, and what's your name? Oh, Pat Dengel. And we have had a special guest, Kyla Carpenter, with us today. And Kyla, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
Have a good day.